Banta with Toni and Mimi. A cross-generational conversation between a millennial.
What did patient Ozukwa say? Forward ever,
Backwards never.
And a Gen Zer.
Holy Ghost fire, supernatural, boost my confidence.
Well, yes.
Join us as it is bound to be exhilarating, exciting, entertaining, and healing. Welcome to another episode of Banta with Toni and
Mimi.
There we are.
Yes.
So this is episode 5.
Yes,
At this point, our podcast has premiered.
Woo! It's been launched. She's out in the world.
Oh my gosh.
On multiple platforms. And she's ready for
Let's do a
guys.
quick, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yes.
I was nerve-ited. I was very nervous and excited. I think we were both feeling...
Nerve-ited?
Yeah, nerve-ited, yes.
Oh, nerve-ited.
Yes, nerve-ited.
Okay.
Yes, I think we were both feeling nervous and excited, but obviously this is like something new for both of us, and...
It's the hiding it part for me.
What do you mean?
We have like family friends that listen to podcasts and other things, and I couldn't share with them that, oh yeah, we're having a podcast too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So having to like hide it from our family, like only our truly immediate people knew about it. Like your grandparents didn't even know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Like,
so
I would just like, I have to go
like,
over and help auntie with her closet. Oh, I'm just helping her sort out her.
Yeah.
But this is what we were doing. We were creating, and we were coming to a space every day or every time that we recorded to do this, or I guess indulge in this project together. Would you call it a passion project?
Yes.
Yes, our passion project. But especially now that it's out, I'm very excited to keep going. There was kind of like obviously the fear, I guess, at first when we first started, when we, had just set up the mics, and I was like, okay, this is all very fun. It seems very fun, but then I was also like, there was the hurdle of fear that I had to get over. And I feel relieved now, but excited for more to come, all the episodes that we're going to do and everything. But yes, feeling...
Yeah, I was definitely nervous because we actually had the episode, it was supposed to premiere at 5 a.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah,
but because we had done some stuff with the files, we pretty much didn't save it the way we were supposed to. So then it didn't premiere when it was supposed to. And I was freaking out. I was like,
she was going crazy.
Where's the podcast? It's not there. So once that came down and then I figured out what the issue was, fixed it, just having it out in the world. And I think like last year when I prayed and I just said, God, I just want you to help me create a way in which my creativity gets out into the world and I'm able to do something with it. Because I think I've always felt like I have creative outlets, but like, are they impactful? Am I able to do something? Like, I just haven't felt that yet. So I really feel like from the feedback that we have even gotten at this point,
yes,
it's been great.
It's just launched,
exactly.
And all the people that we know that we shared it with that have already gave us some feedback and support.
Yes,
it's very, very. It just makes me
very, very important.
And just very nice.
So some little tidbits. When we post the episodes, we're going to have like a poll on every episode. And that poll is going to be open from the day the episode premieres until the next one. So it could be a general question. Like this first episode, since we were talking about faith, we just asked the question like, how important is faith, or how do you view faith? And then you could answer. So there will be a poll there. There's also a little like section where it can say, tell us what you think. So you can leave us a message there too. And if you're listening on Spotify, especially, you can send us voice messages. So this is where the audience really gets to interact with us, because you can say,
with you guys.
I really like this episode. This is what I thought. And then what we'll do is in the following episode, then we'll go back, listen to everything, and then kind of answer some questions or go over the poll question. So there will always be a way for us to be interacting with our audience. And we haven't decided yet where we just created our Instagram pages and all that. So I think eventually we'll probably do live sessions weekly after our episodes premiere.
Yeah, we're going to go live, y'all.
And go live with us. So we really want to build a community with everybody and just have that space, like we said, for us to talk about these issues that are important. And that's one of the things that we've heard back is like, okay, yeah, the faith episode, people are saying like the church is always wanting to reach the young people, but they're never actually talking or listening to them. And this episode was good to kind of hear that from your perspective. Yeah. And that's all we hope for. Like, we want it to have an impact, and we can't do that anyways without you guys' involvement. So
100%.
Don't forget, rate our show, subscribe, engage with us, and we hope you will continue to come along for the ride.
Well, yes.
So now that all the, technical house cleaning is done.
House cleaning.
now that the house is clean.
Yes.
And we've set our candles. Now we can watch some reality
Right.
TV.
No, heavy on the candles. Well, yes. Now the ambiance is nice and set.
Now we can watch Real Housewives.
Yes.
Hey.
She can watch Real Housewives.
I'm gonna
watch
Isn't that
Scandal.
weird? Like, I asked her, I said, you know, do you watch Real Housewives? Again, a generational thing. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no. And to me, I think I watch Potomac. I watch Atlanta. I used to watch Dallas, but I'm behind on Dallas. And New Jersey. I pretty much watch all of them, I think, except for like Miami and New York. Mm-hmm. I try to watch the Lagos one, but it's hard to get the episodes here in the US. So if anybody has watched Real Housewives of Lagos, I know how I can get it.
No, for real, don't gatekeep.
Yes, please share, because I really want to watch the Lagos one.
There are sites.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We will not be promoting them on here.
No, please.
That's why I say message me.
My lips are zipped.
Yes, if you know I can watch Lagos, message me.
Right.
And then she doesn't watch any of those shows. Like, Married to Medicine. Like, I love Bravo. Andy Cohen.
She's a Bravo. Yeah. Because the only time Real Housewives was in my face was when my mom was watching it.
Yeah.
But then we were also talking about like the differences, like how we didn't. She likes drama reality TV, but I like competition reality TV. Like, I like Love Island. Yes, it's still drama, but okay, wait. It's just a different drama because...
I was going to say, that's full of drama too.
That's full of drama, but I guess...
Do you watch US Love Island or UK Love Island?
I watch both.
Oh, okay.
But haven't watched like the first seasons of UK. That it was just, I can't. But they say that's where like the real nitty gritty of Love Island is.
Yeah.
So maybe I should dig deeper in it. Because like now I feel like a lot of things, the show's still good, but obviously a lot of it I feel like is like calculated. Because it is reality TV.
That's what happens with every reality. Even I don't believe, sometimes you can tell people are not even friends. They're just friends to just be on the show. And then you can tell when people create drama.
Exactly. And I feel like I could tell sometimes when drama's fake because there's no way you're doing all that for all this. And yeah.
Like this season on Potomac, we're going to talk about the fact that we already have Dr. Wendy on there, okay? And there are people who don't like her. And then what did they do? They say, oh, let's find another Nigerian girl that's from her same tribe, everything else, and then she can come on the show, and then she can now say some of the things that maybe some of the other girls feel like they could not get away with, but now it'll be like, oh, Nneka's here, and Nneka's also Nigerian, and she has a problem with Wendy, so it's not just us. I could see that calculated move, and she just plays right into it. Because I can imagine you came on national TV to let everybody know that somebody wanted to do juju on you. That's what she came with. That's what she came with.
That show is.
I was like,
giving.
Is this for real? Like, is she really here? Your mom has a shrine. She has a shrine. Oh my gosh. Why?
What?
You and your shrine.
Because I'm speechless.
Need to have a seat. Like,
juju.
I'm just like, even if that's what they're giving you, like, I don't know. Switch it up, figure something else out. But
because girl,
this storyline is ridiculousness. I'm like, so that's what we're talking about. And then, you wouldn't know any of these people. But this other wife that's on there, her name is Mia. So there was a bird. They were eating lunch. And so like a little crow came by. Right. And then she goes to Wendy. She's like, oh, is that your mom?
No, that was a gag.
And of course, Wendy's like, don't do that.
No, because one thing I mean, don't play my face like that. Because what do you mean is that my mom?
It's like, what? She's like, oh, yeah, too soon. Too soon, not ever. Don't do that.
So bad.
Exactly. And I'm just like, really this is what we have to deal with in 2023/24.
Wow.
Is somebody going on TV talking about an African person doing juju on them? Like, stop playing with people. Stop playing.
Yeah, for real. Don't play. Stop playing people's face. 2024, stop playing people's face. Think about that. Don't play my face.
Oh my gosh. It makes entertaining TV to some degree, but we're just excited to have some Africans on the show. So come here and represent us well. Right, like, I don't know, show our culture. Or if you're not, just live your life. But don't do anything that's detrimental to it. Now there are people who don't have like African friends and they're thinking, oh, is that all Africans do? Like they have shrines? Because they will ask you those ignorant questions. Do you guys all have shrines?
No, for real.
Do you guys have houses?
Ranting? What did you just say? Do you
guys have houses, or do you guys live in like the tree houses?
Yeah.
Have you seen a lion? Oh, have you been asked if you've ever seen? Well, since you were born here, I was asked if I ever saw a lion. I'm like, yeah, at the zoo here. Here in America. I don't wake up and there's a lion like right outside my window.
Because what do you mean? Have I seen a lion? Why do you haven't seen a lion?
Have you seen a lion?
Nowhere but the zoo. Like,
no, I have
I'll
not.
put them here in cages and show them and display them.
Yeah, because I'm gonna. This is my pet elephant.
Just stop. But one show you do watch I like is Dubai Bling.
Yes,
I like that show.
I love it when it's on Netflix because I can just binge and just watch instead of like now Potomac. I have to wait week after week. I don't like that. So I'm all caught up.
Oh no, they don't do that because once
unless you wait until after the season's over, then you can binge.
But no, because Netflix, what you guys need to stop doing is they did do that at one point. There was a show
for Love Is Blind.
They did for Love Is Blind and another show. That was really
we don't
good.
need all that weekly drop. Just drop it all. That's what you're known for is to drop it all.
Every week for an episode
Singles
to drop. I was like, Singles Inferno. You need to watch it because okay, so she watches
all these love shows. I already have love in my life. Why am I watching reality love?
Listen. I watched K-dramas with my sister, but I didn't know that you guys, like my aunt, like Miss Toni right here, watches K-dramas.
Yes,
so basically, Singles Inferno is a Korean love reality show.
Oh, okay.
I like it. But they're younger people, so I don't know if you would.
We'll see. I mean, I'm the type of person I'll give anything a chance, but the only thing is I hate not finishing stuff. Sometimes that's why I don't like watching things with other people because like once we don't like it now, we need to suffer to the end because I need to see the end. Yeah. Really? So like even if it's boring, now I have to finish it. Like that's my, I guess, OCD things. I can't not finish it.
But that show did make me mad though. And also like the cultural differences. It was like they would put girls on there who were like the spitting image of the country's stereotype or like the image of beauty for them. And then all the guys would just be so drawn to her. And then all the other girls would like die out in the storyline, and I'm just like, okay. But I guess it was good for the time it lasted.
I feel like that started for me during the pandemic. I watched one show, the Korean shows. I watched one show, it was good.
Though.
Then I watched another one, and then I think I've only watched 3. And I think the second one I haven't finished it yet, but there's so many.
Yeah, they have a wide range, and they have different genres and everything.
A lot of us like the K-dramas, so kudos to you guys. You guys are doing a good job over there.
To y'all.
And then every time I'm watching that, I'm like, they have perfect skin.
Perfect skin. Just the way the show is always just so professional. Perfect skin.
They have good fashion.
Dressed up.
The Korean fashion is like very good, and it's like not even. It's very classy fashion. Like they never show too much skin, but they're always like put together and
taste.
Even the guys, I know they put makeup on because obviously they're on TV, but even the guys have good skin. I'm like, dang, they be having glass skin. So
the Korean skincare is also where it's at.
Yeah, I think I told you last week I got the snail mucin, the essence.
Yes, she did.
So we'll see if it's helping me with my.
But I did
moisture.
get an Ulta gift card for Christmas, so I will be zooming to Ulta and.
Yes, don't buy it on Amazon because apparently they have the fake one on Amazon or something.
Because that's scary. Don't play with your life like that, everyone.
Amazon needs to work on that. This counterfeit things that people are creating that they're selling on there.
Yeah, the sellers, because the sellers be whack sometimes. You're not getting the true thing, and it's also maybe like the.
Because there's a difference when I know I'm buying the dupe. Like you know how they have the dupe of the earrings. Those my Fottegas. Yeah,
her Fottegas.
My Fottegas.
No, because she ate when she started doing that. She'd be like, "Hey, my Fottegas."
Yeah, but I know ahead of time I'm buying the Fottega. But if I buy snail mucin and it's just
it's the real deal,
exactly.
And then I come and there's literal snot in my hand. Then we're gonna fight.
But they said the fake one, you know, like how when you go like this and it's supposed to like linger and be like snail. But the fake one isn't as sticky. That's how you know.
It's like watered down.
Yeah, it's watered down. They say the shape of the bottle is different. So like the cap is shorter. On the fake one, it's longer.
Okay, that.
So just go on TikTok. You see that somebody's comparing like the two, and I was like, "Dang! Like, what are you putting on your face then?" You know,
exactly. Because too, the ingredients too, because they could also mess with
exactly for people like us that have sensitive skin. Like, we can't just be having anything on our skin.
I will not accept it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that counts as our pop culture rant because we just kind of talked about everything. So
that was a
little taste of just everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So that ended up working out. That's pop culture. We just diggled and dabbled.
We went with the flow for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, another thing I appreciate about this podcast, okay, I'm just going to throw this in there. I like the way our chemistry is portrayed on here. And it's just very telling of our relationship. Yeah, it's very natural.
Yes.
But
when I have to lay down the law as auntie.
Oh, she don't play. One thing about her, because one thing about Auntie Toni, she do not play. And we're just going to leave it there.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes.
Yes. When I have to lay down the law, I lay down the law. But like, I think I always felt like when I was growing up, sometimes I couldn't really talk to my mom. So one of the things I always knew that I wanted to do for you guys and of course my own kids as well is that they'll always know I'm going to be, tough and be a disciplinarian. But I also want them to feel like there's nothing that they can be going through that they feel like they can't come and talk to me about.
Yeah. That was beautiful. But then to also like tie it into like, what was it, last week? I think, because Auntie and I, we did have a conversation a couple of days ago. But one thing I feel like is very telling, like how we were talking about last week about our last topic and noticing what we're doing for those generational patterns. The fact that you're aware of that, like you made it a goal to know that your kids, your nieces, anybody like after you can come to you and not be scared or fearful, like have fear instilled in them to talk to you about anything. I feel like there's that pattern breaking for you. It's also different for me in a good way because I know it's not the same when I'm talking to other adults in my life who are still living through those negative generational patterns. I knew that although it was tough, it was something I needed to hear. And I didn't walk away from it feeling like, unloved.
You were attacked or something. Yeah.
Yes. So
and that's the balance. That
because then now that creates a healthy space. It didn't torment my mental. It actually like made me face and take accountability and making me a better person.
Exactly. And that's the key to discipline. It's like you still have the things that, you're challenging the person for. But remember when I said last week, you always challenge the behaviors and not the person. Yes, so it's like, okay, your behavior is not good or this is not good, but doesn't mean I don't love you. And just because you're displaying bad behavior doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just you need to work on these things and fix them.
I didn't feel belittled nor attacked or all of that. It was just true. And I feel like that's what like love is, Yes. If somebody lets you just do whatever in this life, it's very hard for me to believe that that person loves you. Because like there's so many sayings out there. Iron sharpens iron. You can't have love without it being chastised. So that idea, like if I love you, I always want what's best for you. And that means that even if I have to call you out on certain things, it's about how I do it. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't call you out. And I think sometimes for people that might maybe come from environments that there was a lot of confrontation, for example, they go from one extreme to the other. So like maybe you were disciplined as a kid and it was a really bad way of being disciplined and it was extreme. And now you go to the point like when you have your kids, you're not disciplining them at all. And that's not the solution because kids still need structure. They still need consequences for actions. So and then also like minus like someone who was in that extreme when they were younger, kind of before kids, growing up, maybe because you were like in that extreme for so long, you don't even apply discipline to yourself anymore. Or like you lack like discipline or motivation or actual progress because it was so negative for you and it was like kind of traumatizing in a way. But that's why, like, you have people in your life. I'm very grateful for my auntie, who, no, because I am. It was hard to hear, guys.
Yes.
But it was so very much just a very true expression of love and just, she wants me to be the best that I can be. And I don't want anything else but that for me. And also for her to show that, I don't want to let her down. And I also don't want to let myself
down. Yeah, so, that's even more important. Because I've been on the other end too. Like sometimes it's like I'm doing what is expected of me and all that. And it's great. But until that motivation starts coming from within yourself so that even when I'm not there, like you can't be like, oh, I'm paying my bills because my auntie's around. She wants me to. When I'm not even around, I need you to pay your bills.
Right.
Exactly. So it's the same.
Very true.
So
I was going to say
good
something.
to hear. I think you were talking about the cross-generational stuff and that was crucial. Me being aware of the fact that I wanted to do things differently with you guys.
Yes. Oh, it was going to be awareness because also another thing, like the person who you want the best for could not also be aware of the behavior that they're expressing or that they're portraying is not, them living to their fullest potential. So the fact that you are aware of making sure that you hold someone like me like accountable for my actions in a healthy way, because then there are also things that I feel like I was doing that I was not aware of. So to bring, the conscious out, like it's not subconscious anymore. Subconscious anymore. Yeah. So now I'm aware of it too, and I can just move forward and
you want to know
with love. Yes.
That's something that was never done for me. like I had to learn by making the wrong choices, making the wrong decisions. I wish there was somebody who, when I was at your age and I was doing certain things, that could have called me out and be like, look, you need to hustle and bustle some more and get to this, you know. So for me, it was just a lot of like, and again, like we talked about, our parents are new to this country, so we're navigating a lot of things on our own and a lot of trial and error. And then you look at your family circumstances too, like you'll be the first one to go to college, you're the first one to do X, Y, and so you're really navigating a lot of spaces for the first time. And those closest to you will have no idea. Sometimes they're even like a hindrance in some way because they don't even realize that, okay, I'm working on, you know, my thesis for my master's. Like this is not the time to be mad at me because I can't go to my third cousin's wedding.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
Because that's, yeah, exactly. That's another thing. I feel like that's also like being selfish too.
But in our community, in our culture, they don't see it like that. It's just like, your cousin is getting married. How could you not be there? How could you not show up? And it's like,
look what I'm doing.
This that I'm doing right now.
Can I show for myself? Jesus.
Very important. But now, can you imagine? Ursula comes to me, Mommy, I have to write my dissertation, for example, and there's a party and I'm telling her, oh, you have to show up to this. Like, of course not. I can understand that. It's not even something that's going to be in my head.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Think twice about.
So yeah, I guess that kind of led to what I wanted for us to talk about today. I wanted us to talk about community. And like we always give a disclaimer that we are African people of African descent.
We are of African descent.
Would I even be considered first generation? Because I wasn't born here. I moved here when I was 11. So like you guys are first generation.
Born
in America.
Yeah, we are the first born generation.
Yeah, because I moved when I was like 12. So I came to the US when I was 12. So yeah, in case you guys missed it, we're Sierra Leonean. And then, okay, so I'll start with mine first because mine's a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm Sierra Leonean, obviously. Both my parents are Sierra Leonean. On my dad's side, they are Nigerians that migrated to Sierra Leone. So if we traced our family back, my dad always said that they lived in Kano State. So I always used to think I was Hausa. And then when I did my ancestry test, all the stuff came back to really point that I was Yoruba. And that's not uncommon for somebody to be living in some place, but like that's not where they're from. So even though my dad was told that they lived in Kano State when they were in Nigeria, we're actually of Yoruba descent, like when you look at everything. So that's that. And then on my mother's side, yes, they are Sierra Leonean, but they actually are from Guinea. And they too migrated to Sierra Leone. So we are so on that side. And so then I'm so Creole because my dad's people, when you trace them back, yeah, they were originally from Nigeria, but then they were ex-slaves that were taken to the US, brought back to Freetown. And then the Creole people were like the ones that were like the closest to the colonizers when they were there. There's no other way to put it. They were the ones that were closest to the British. And so like they adopted the British customs in a lot of ways, like in the way they would dress, the way they build their houses, the way they go about raising their children, very much so in the British way.
Yeah.
So I'm a mixture.
European way.
Because it's like my dad has that European Creole genetics, and then my mom is so tribe. And so those two people came together to create me. And then when I did my ancestry on my mother's side, then you can see that we come all the way from up north. So the Berber people from Morocco and Algeria, we are descendants
North
from them.
African.
So like we are up north. Obviously, they migrated. So that would be like all the Bantu tribes. So like we are. So we are North African, West African, if you want to go that far.
Wow, she just gave y'all a whole ancestry and me.
Yes. Oh yeah, because I did 23andMe.
Yeah,
I was so excited.
I still need to do that.
Yeah, I recommend everybody, and a lot of Africans will be like, "I'm African." We know you are, but you just might find out that, you thought you were Sierra Leonean your whole life, but then, like me, you're Algerian and Moroccan as well. And, and then it's good for us as Africans to do it too, so we can be a resource for a lot of like our African-American brothers or people in diaspora that are trying to connect with their roots.
Right.
Because the more that we do it and we are very sure about like where we come from and our family and our histories, then that's something that we can help somebody else connect with. Because a lot of us, we have bodies of water close by us. So there's no way you can say, oh, my tribe or my people were never part of the slave trade. It's very hard for me to believe that. So that's something that's sometimes hard to sell to, some of our African people, because they're like, oh, I know we were never part of it. But you just never know.
It's not.
You might take that ancestry test and find out you have 400. Like I have 400 relatives, 450 something relatives on 23andMe.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Like 400 and that's like they're just all roaming the earth right now.
Yeah. And once you start seeing it, because then like I'll look at a lot of the people, obviously they're from the South, a lot of Carolinas, a lot of Louisiana, because that was the one thing, like I love going to New Orleans. I don't know what it was, but every time I go to NOLA, I just feel like I'm home. And
wow. So you
yes.
feel it.
And one day it clicked to me, like the way like the houses are, that's kind of like how like the Creole people do their houses back home. The streets, like just the environment very much so reminded me of like the way we do things in Freetown. So when I did my ancestry, yeah, some of our relatives came from Louisiana. Some of them came from North Carolina. So it was good seeing all that. I was like, oh, okay, so this is the parts of in America that, you know, we have blood relatives living in.
Yeah, I want to do that. So I have my portfolio.
Yeah, yours would be very interesting.
Yes. Well, my mom is Sierra Leonean. My dad is Guinean.
You have the Guinean side
Yeah,
too.
I have the Fula Guinean.
Yes, she's a Fula girl.
I'm Fula gal.
That's why her name is Mariama.
Mariama Jala.
Jalo.
Well, yes. Yeah, my dad is Guinean from the Fula tribe. And my mom is mom Soso Creole?
She's like, I feel like they're Mende as well.
Mende, no, yeah. Grandma did say that.
Yeah,
Grandma
I feel like they're
did say
mixed
that,
with Mende as well. Yeah, but for sure, I think there's Mende in there.
Well,
and I
yeah.
feel like I definitely have Mende in my stuff too. So we all end up being mixed.
Yes, we're just.
But we know we're Sierra Leonean and Guinean for sure.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
that's right.
anything else we find out is by bonus.
Yeah, guys, I will have my portfolio soon.
My
Don't worry.
portfolio.
Yes, I will
So,
know. So that's
If
all
you
I
ever
know so
wonder,
far.
we are Sierra Leonean and Guinean girls.
Yes.
That's it.
We're
We are
so-
Creole and Soso. So we're like, we're brought up a certain way, but then we have our, you know, I like the mixture actually.
Me
I like
too.
Because I love the Soso music and the Soso food. And I downloaded this cookbook that I want us to try making some recipes from this year, but it's the Guinean cookbook. So we get to like try like all the different Guinean recipes.
Yes,
So I feel like, yeah, the Soso and Guinean food is sweeter than the...
She said sweeter.
sweeter
Then
than the
what
Creole food. Though.
Ooh.
You know-
Okay, so what are some Soso Guinean foods?
Oh my gosh, so many. Like
would have tried.
the one with the you have the okra and like on the side that you boil. You have rice with it, but you have like the beni. I think that's a Guinean way of eating it because this cookbook had something similar to it. And like you'll fry some fish on the side. Same thing, a lot of gravy things. The way they cook the sawa and the plasas was different. Like I'll show it to you.
So growing up, I like ate more Creole foods than
Yeah.
Even hearing it doesn't sound very familiar to me. So
Oh, and I don't know what the name of this. I think it's called hutoon or something like that. But it's like it's ground beef or fish or something that we'll put, and then we're eating it
okay,
with
if anything, when Nene's house, whenever we would go to Nene's house, we had
and
that's
fura from your people. I love me some fura.
fura. She's over here. She's like
I like to
envisioning it right now. She's imagining it.
I am a food connoisseur.
No, because food is just telling of culture, and it's always
Yes.
beautiful and it's delicious. So, well, yeah. So,
Community. That's what we're talking about today.
well, yes.
So
I say that a lot. Too
when
much. Well, yeah.
I was growing up, one of the ways, because our parents came here and they'll work a lot, but then they looked forward to the weekends because like every weekend or every other weekend, there was some party going on. There was something going on. And it was a way for us to build community. So it was a way for them to release stress too. But looking back, my generation, I felt like we felt like it was a lot of wasted time. So what do I mean by that? Like, I think a lot of us still do it, but like the whole community might have like, whatchamacallit, like a annual celebration. And then everybody's supposed to fly over there or come with their family and you just spend time in that celebration. It's just a networking way for you to be connected to your community. Okay. But it just became all about just going to the parties. And when Africans party, it's not cheap. It's expensive.
No, because it will be an event.
Yes.
It's an event every single time.
So if you're going to a party every other weekend and then you got to have an outfit every other weekend, you can see how that stuff adds up.
Right.
So a lot of the issues that they are facing now is that some of these organizations that were created to give us a sense of community when we moved here and we're in other lands are beginning to die out because the older generation has failed to connect with your generation. So that's why I wanted us to have this discussion, because I wanted us to figure out what is it that's causing that disconnect? Because technically, yes, you guys are African, but like we're saying, you guys are the first generations that were born here. Depending on how early some families moved here, some people might even be on their second generation of kids that were born here, right?
Like we're African Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Our nationality is African American.
Yes, because at that point now, you're African Americans that know where your African ancestry is.
Yes.
So a lot of the African organizations and the things that we used to do to have that sense of community, it's been lost. And I know for a lot of them, they're trying to figure out, how do we connect back to these young people? How do we get the younger crowd to attend the meetings? And like I said, for us, I feel like our generation, when we grew up, we just saw it as just them getting together and partying, and they were not really being impactful.
Right, because anybody can party. No, for real, because I'm thinking about it, because anybody could party with the people that, you know, in their community. But actually, what you're talking about, the wasted time is now, because there were, what you were saying, there was a lot of organizations, you know, that would hold the parties, what you were saying. But now it's just like, just to throw a party.
It's just to throw a party. Right. Everybody comes, shows their latest car they have, wear the biggest gilly, the latest things that they sold, and then we eat food and then we go home.
Go home. Just an excuse to see Uncle Sam, Auntie, every weekend.
And that's good, but it shouldn't have been all of it. I think some of them are now getting it. Yeah, like some of them now volunteer. Some of them now are trying to do stuff. But it's almost like it's a little too late. No, our parents' generation. Because my generation and the generation younger, they're not even participating in a lot of these groups anymore.
And it's also like oblivion. I didn't even know that.
So you didn't even know about these organizations?
Yeah, well, no.
Wow. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, how do we get you guys to come back to the fold? And obviously, one, the older generation, a lot of them need to let go, because a lot of them are still like in the forefront of these organizations. And I feel like they need to let go of how they have been doing things for so long.
Yeah.
Because it's a new age. In order for them to attract the younger kids, the way they used to do it, it can't be the same formula that we're following
here. Because I think especially when it's like your parents' generation, them being born in Africa and, you know, being raised in their culture, like they grew up in Africa, but then they had you, like their kids, who they had then had in Africa, but they migrated over here to America. But then now to deal with my generation who were born here, and we haven't really been surrounded by our culture and our community. But now I feel like they have to, because it's inevitable that there's going to have to be
drop the ball.
Yeah, you have to drop the ball for us now, because that's what, like, already like 2 generational gap. That's a gap that they cannot bridge by themselves. It's like, you guys, there's a disconnect. So I feel
there's a disconnect because they dropped the ball. There's a disconnect because one, some of them, not all of them, when they came to America, because they had such a hard time, they actually divorced themselves to some degree of everything that represented their cultures. So yes, when you go to a party every weekend or every other weekend, you're with everybody from your community. And you guys speak your language and everything else. But when it came to your kids, some of the kids didn't eat the food. Some of the kids definitely don't know the language. And the parents were okay with it being that way.
So it was just like a nostalgic event.
Exactly. It was just for them to connect back with their old schoolmates and their family and their relations, but they didn't pass on those same things to their kids. I'm hopeful, because I think I'm seeing more young kids now, like, for example, the Yoruba community. I'm seeing a lot of Yoruba younger kids that want to go back and learn the language or speak it or whatever. And so I'm hopeful that you guys will come back and connect.
Yeah, and where are the spaces for us to even do that? For people, like, for them to even do that.
So now the kids are now trying to learn the language from their parents, asking them, and then practicing among each other. So like, if you were friends with some other Fula or Guinean girls, they might maybe start teaching you guys some words, and then you guys are speaking it back and forth. So that older generation dropped the ball in that way, because they were trying to make sure their kids were as Americanized or wherever they ended up in the world. In the UK, want to make sure they're as British as possible. And in some ways, they divorced themselves of their cultures in that way, right? Because you wanted your kids to go back home and impress everybody with their American accent and their British accent. So it's like, no, I don't want you to have any accent, because I don't want nobody to treat you any different. You're a British child. You're an American child.
You speak this way.
You speak
correct. This way.
Yeah.
But then now it's like,
but that's a big part of culture. Yeah. Because like we said, so much gets passed on in language. Like even when you translate things to English, sometimes there are words in our languages that you can't even translate to English.
Yeah. And
it's like, how do we say that?
It's true. That's what I'm saying. Well, Creole is like a dialect of English. Well, it is its own language.
It's broken English. Yeah, it's its own thing.
Basically. But when I call my dad and try to talk to my dad and speak Fula, it's just one thing that I just wish that, if anything, that I had learned or knew. Because when I talk to him and he's talking to me, and I'd be like, oh, he tells me what it means. He teaches me phrases. Like, you know, in Jarama.
Okay,
and
I'll tell you.
Okay. Because, so when he answers the phone, he asks me that. That's as much as I know, but I really wish that, you know, I knew more. So it was just like you said, if the, you know, knowing more Fula girls or Guinean girls and being involved, creating like a community in my generation, I feel like it would be very beneficial because, and I think another thing is like, I feel like your parents' generation, like the older generation, feeling that we're disconnected, but then I feel like some of them think that we have no care or no curiosity about
they don't take ownership of the fact that they played a role in the disconnect.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, these kids, they don't care about where they come from. They don't care about their community.
Right. Yeah.
Well, all you did was party.
How are we
and a lot of times, those parties, it's just a way for people to carry attention to themselves. So it'll be,
to show up and be the showstopper.
Women's group. After that is the men's group. Then after that is the underbelly group.
Aye.
Then is the HSCTH.
Aye.
This is the Excellency's president's daughter. 3 hours has passed and we're just calling title up and down, up and down. Like,
Aye.
and then people are on their phones. When they go to those things, the kids will rather meet up and go and hang out and do stuff instead of actually going to
the event itself.
The event and building community. Yeah. So do you feel like, okay, for example, for you now, do you actually have a group of African friends?
I have not strictly African friends, but in my friend group, there are African girls. I have a Ghanaian friend. I have like a plethora of Ethiopian friends. And then we have some like strictly Black African American girls in our friend group. But
and that's understandable because you were born here. These are all the people that you went to school with and everything else. But do you ever try to make friends that are like from Sierra Leone, for example, so that you have some people in your group, or, you know, you can have different friend groups. So maybe another friend group that's like, you know, a Sierra Leonean connection.
I don't have another. It's never like I never tried to, but I feel like in like our Sierra Leonean community when I was back in Minnesota and we would attend those events, there was like, I didn't like try to keep our, you know, connection outside of just going to the event. So like actually building a connection with some of the girls that I would see at those parties that were Sierra Leonean, we didn't really become friends. It was just like we would see each other, you know, at those parties.
Because another thing you guys to preserve your languages, you need to practice it. And you can't practice it outside of, you know, being with people that actually speak it.
Yeah.
But I also get it because you can't just go around just being like, oh, I'm just looking for a Sierra Leonean friend.
Right, and
like,
it's going to be like, exactly.
It needs to be because you connect with the person.
Right. That is true. But then I feel like now there is more like leeway for me to actually, in this big old Houston,
I was going to say, Texas is the perfect place with everybody here.
Everybody's here. So if I'm going out and looking for it, I could find, you know, a Sierra Leonean community, Guinean community to indulge myself in, which I feel like I would have no problem.
And that will
with.
help. And then do you think you guys, maybe you guys don't even have a sense of, because we kind of talked about it in one of the earlier episodes that you guys are, I think what was the word that you used? You said collective independence or something. So do you think it's because your generation in
collectivism
as a whole, you guys don't necessarily even like get together and congregate like at that level that like my parents used to? So for you guys,
that's how I was when we were talking about this episode. Like I was gonna say with that, like our get-togethers, like what you would do, your generation or your generation before you would do to actually come together for the sense of community and be around people who are part of your culture and where you come from. I feel like now when our get-togethers or the community, quote unquote, that we have is for people who fit like your aesthetic or just like material, like outer exterior.
That match you. So all the girls that wear Lululemon hang out with all the girls that wear Lululemon. Black, white, or silver.
Like, dang. Because, so that's what we see. Because I feel like there is a sense of like loss of our culture when it comes to that, when all we're doing is connecting in like a materialistic way or it's just very surface level. And then it takes more effort, if anything, for us to find people who are where we came from, like people from our country who speak our language. Because there's a disconnect to both. You don't have it at home or like in your own like community Like, you don't have it at home, nor do you have it outside because you're not looking for it or you're not surrounded by it. Yeah. So then obviously we would go out and find people who fit our quote unquote aesthetic or who dress the same as us, who listen to the same music as us, who like the same thing, So that sense of true like connection with our identity, like where we come from, is not really prevalent in what you see today with our generation.
And we can only blame those who came before you. Right. So I think they didn't do a good enough job showing you guys that that is so important. And it's only because we're here. It's only because people are in diaspora that they might not always see it. But it helps, like, because outside of the partying, when you have that community, let's say something happens, everybody comes together, they help you out. Like when we got married, for example, it's not like we didn't have the money to get married, but one of the traditions is that, you know, people that you guys are family friends with will all come together and they all like contribute something and you're able to get married and do stuff. Or let's say somebody dies, that idea like everybody comes together, donates, or even if it's the party, people are bringing food and all that stuff. So the benefits are there. I just don't know how they dropped the ball in making sure you guys could see the benefits and then showing the value. And I think sometimes it's also the disconnect from back home too. Because I think when you finally go to like Nigeria with us, or we're going to go to Sierra Leone eventually, I don't want to say when, we're going to go. Yeah. But you see how important it is, that sense of community. And I think it's something that you lose when you come abroad. And so you have kids that are raised here, but they've never been back home. Right. And I think if the parents...
I have not been back home yet. So... Oh, so devastating.
So important because there are certain things that you don't even have to teach that is just there. So if a lot of them, you know, instead of spending $6,000 a year on parties, we'll take that $6,000 and say, let's pay for tickets and take our kids home. Some of us home. The connection.
So nice.
Because now I see a lot of young people going for dirty December.
Yeah. Well, yes. And that's another thing. Like a lot of our people.
I said dirty. Dirty. It's D-E-T-T-Y. Not dirty. Dirty December.
But because I have some of my friends. One of my friends this summer went back to Nigeria with her dad. They all went back home. Not sure if it was her first time, but... You know, but going back home in a sense, and a lot of people in our generation, I feel like we sense it though. I feel like we sense there's a loss in our, like we don't feel it.
And you go back to the source.
Right.
Whenever something is off, you go back to the source.
Go back to the source. And then there's no shame. Yeah. Because you see people where you come from that are your age going back home. It makes you want to go back home too. Not like purely like so influenced to be a follower, but it's like when you see the people come back or they share about their story when they went home, or they're videotaping it when they went home, they're vlogging it, and you're seeing like you just feel it. I feel like I know when I go back home, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to love it.
Oh, you're going to fall in love. There's no doubt about it.
And when I come back, I feel like, and that's another thing, like you said, that there's some things just about us, home, and like the way we live as African people that you don't even, it's instilled in us. You don't have to teach. Exactly. And I feel like when you're in the source, when you're in our, you know, motherland, we're going to feel it. And when we come back, I feel like, if anything, it's going to make us want to, it's going to ignite us to want to be more connected here and actually start those communities. And
because I think there are people now who even go home and they might not even have known each other here, but then they meet somebody that's from diaspora when they go back home for Dirty December. And now you come back and you have that connection.
Each other.
And you know each other. Right. So there is hope there. But like I'm saying to the older generation, things are going to look different from how you guys have been doing it. And you guys have to be okay with letting go.
And also
let go and let things flow, let it happen, and sit back and let the new generation figure out how we're going to do this thing. Because I think we do know the importance of the sense of community. We just don't want to do it the way that you guys have been doing it for so long, because we have different needs.
And I also think that it's not much of a sense of, because I don't think we want to or should do it on our own without the sense of guidance from our
elders. Yeah.
I do not think at all. If anything, when I envision like wanting, like right now, if I at my age wanted to start an organization or community and bring back that sense of union for say Sierra Leonean people, for the younger generation, yes, it's about starting it on our own and, bring it from the perspective of a younger generation, but I'm not going to not want to do it without the guidance or go talk to somebody older than me.
But I think they feel threatened sometimes because they think, they just want to kick me out.
Right.
And it's like, nobody will ever kick you out. We're just asking you to take a different position, take a step back. But we're always going to come to you and consult with you because there are some things that we don't know. We're still trying to figure it out.
We're not the
But give us the room to do it.
Not being born back home, even as many visits as I may take, I wasn't raised or I didn't grow up in Africa.
Yeah.
And our elders were, they have that instilled that like,
you still need that when you're going home to say, don't talk like this to grandma. When grandma is talking to you, say, yes, ma. You still need the, all the little cues. We still
everywhere
need it.
because that's us. Like they were just a new generation. And I feel like that's where like I guess the conflict may come with this cross-generational thing. It's the conversation or
but are they willing to listen?
That's what I'm saying. The conversation
we're
that's
having
willing
this
to
conversation.
be had
we're just one generation removed
apart.
But now having this conversation with our parents' generation or their parents, well, a lot of them it was going to be our parents' generation. Yeah. It can be very difficult because I think sometimes they lose sight of the big picture and that which they want, they say they want it. So they say they want the young people to come back. They want to have the sense of community. But a lot of times they don't want to take responsibility that they helped to create the problem that is existing today.
And then you created, we have to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was trying to say.
Take accountability first.
Exactly.
That's what you always start with.
Yeah. The conflict of having that conversation with the younger generation, meeting the problem, like hitting on its head with coming with the perspective of the older generations not wanting to hear us or making us feel like we don't know or like we can't do this or that we don't know anything anyway. And then there's the older generation having that perspective and also feeling like, they're trying to take our place. They don't know how, they're not going to do it right. But it's like you said, the bigger picture needs to be solidified in everyone's head when we do want to have this conversation. If there wants to be, if you want us to come back and we want to feel connected with ourselves here in America, it needs to be this conversation that needs to be had. And there's room that needs to be made. And again, like, I don't know if they don't hear it enough, but I feel like for my part, I generally don't think it can work without the guidance of the other generation.
It won't work the same way that they've been doing it.
Right.
So like back in the day, like I said, everybody used to show up and they will have the events, the conferences or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And, people used to participate in all that. Now people don't want to even buy the ticket to show up to the conference. So maybe have they even considered doing virtual conferences, right? Like you got to meet the people where they are today.
Yeah, it's a new age.
And instead of doing them just like a
because not
party,
everybody can fly out. Yeah. Not everybody can book a ticket to, the coast opposite from them.
Yeah.
It's just like, because not everybody could do that now. We also have ways where we can still connect. We have virtual ways. We have phone calls.
Your group can create apps. There are apps nowadays.
Right.
On the app, you can have actually like things teaching the kids the language.
Yeah.
So this would be an app that you download. It could be very specific.
And you as the elders, you know the language. You are in. That is where we get it from.
These are all the things we're talking about.
So come on, and then we as the younger people, we have that tech savvy mind, like the way we have the new age way of doing things. So let's come together and bridge. Let's just unify.
Because we still need you guys to tell us our history.
And
we still need you guys to tell us the stories.
Our food,
we still need you guys.
Our music. We need. We still need it.
They
from
will never
everybody.
be replaced.
Exactly. It will never be replaced, and we're not.
Yeah. We just want to do things differently.
Yeah. Not everybody can do it alone. I feel like because then that conflict is like, okay, then the older generation feels like, okay, they're going to keep doing the conferences or the way that they've been doing it, with just inviting the older people maybe and just having those parties.
But then those are dwindling.
Right.
So
and then it's going to
have a whole community of people, but you're not attracting them to come back. And like you're saying, for example, right now, you have a diverse group of friends.
Right.
Think about when you have a life partner. Chances are your partner will not necessarily even be Sierra Leonean. So you're having a generation of kids that are having a diverse experience with their friends. Their partners are from all these places. So that's why I'm saying it takes a mind that's in the new generation to know, how do I reach to these people now that, maybe you might feel uncomfortable because you're like, okay, I'm coming to my people's event, but if I come there, everybody's wearing this, everybody's doing that, or maybe my partner feels uncomfortable because maybe I'm married to somebody that's obviously not part of that culture. Like, that's something to consider too.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to just kind of see just what you were thinking about that. And I think we kind of answer that question is like this generation, they do want that connection. They want to know their languages. They want to connect with other people that are part of their community. They just want to do it in ways that are more like authentic and organic and not the old ways of doing it. And if the older generation wants to attract the younger generation to these events and to have a better sense of community, one, they need to hold themselves accountable for the things that they have done. And then two, they need to be willing to allow younger people to come into the place and to give their opinions or give ideas and actually implement those ideas. Right?
Accept them and take them in and actually not have it go in one ear and out the other.
Which is like the essence of our podcast.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, yes.
Let's have these discussions. Let's talk and let's actually hear each other.
But then I feel like my question, I guess, for you would be like, what about you? Because you're kind of in the middle, because we've been saying older generation and then my generation and being younger. But then at the same time, you are younger than
Yes. Yeah. When I say younger, I'm talking about me and you.
Okay.
Going to the elders.
Okay.
Because I feel like, my generation is going to be like that middle gap.
I feel like you will be the bridge. We are the bridge.
We are.
If anything, if there's such a disconnect going straight to them, I feel like us having this conversation here, if anything, can make it easier for the both of us, like people from my generation and your generation, to go to the older generation and actually try our best to
it's very difficult to get them to understand things from our perspective. It's really hard. And then I just think also they didn't use the organizations the way they should have used them. Like I said, with scholarships or having projects back home. I mean, we joke about sometimes, you go back home and the roads are all messed up or whatever. But if you're coming over here and you guys are coming together to party, every other day or every month or whatever, think about how many times you guys could have done fundraisers. So you get to knock two stones out, right? We know that we love to party. We love to have a good time.
Right.
But you could do a fundraiser. That way you're kind of partying, but it's for a purpose. It's for a cause. And then you take the money from that fundraiser to go back home, maybe help to build a school.
Right.
That would have helped really for the younger generation to have much more of a connection.
Yeah. And I think what you said earlier, like us not seeing the benefits of those.
Yes.
So like if we do just see like a party being thrown by, the older generation, and okay, maybe the way that they do the fundraiser is, okay, you buy a ticket or whatever. But then for us to go and just go to the party or pay for the ticket and see that the money is not being used, though. I feel like when we don't see that the money is being used, or like, what did I go there for?
Exactly.
Right.
And now we have to calculate, because everything nowadays, you have to look at financial. Do you see the taxes in this place? So now you think I calculate, I have to pay tickets, pay for the material, sew it. And then you cannot come back and say, this year we were able to fix the road in our
You can't say nothing,
place.
Right?
Oh, this year we actually were able to use the money to buy 5 buses. And now the kids that are in our community, they have buses that can take them to school. For us to see the manifestations of where the money is going.
Not even just where our money is going, but to see that when we come together to do this, we're all making an impact together.
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, so my contribution by myself, if anything, seeing that is going to buy the buses, or it's going to build the roads, and it's going to, make a better life for the people back home, my people back home, I'm going to want to come to these events every year. I'm going to want to even
and
maybe
then your
help
children now go with you when you're going back home.
Exactly.
See? That's how you bring it all together.
Plan.
Yes.
See, organization.
And now you collect your children and you say, Christmas now, we are going back home. Remember that fundraiser we did? Now we are going home to go buy the buses, or we're going home to give the gifts to the kids. And then you use that trip now to take your children. That's how it was supposed to be done. So we are sorry that you guys did not get it right.
Shucks.
You guys are doing the best you can. This is not a podcast for us to come and blame our parents generation and say, they are bad, they're bad. They did the best they could with some of the resources they had. And community is so, so, so important. I think we wouldn't have this conversation if we don't acknowledge that it is very important. And that's why we're saying, how are we going to fix it so that we can go back and get that sense of community? But let's learn from you guys' missteps and just do it better.
Right.
Well, yes. But we appreciate the generation before us. If they didn't take the risk, if they didn't take, all the nonsense that they put up with, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't even be able to have this podcast.
Right.
So we're not on here to bash the older generation. We just want to think of a solution. Because we always have to move forward.
Yeah. So we can progress together.
Progression.
Progression.
What did patient Ozukwa say? Forward ever. Backwards
never. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
That's what I'm saying.
Banta. Forward ever. Backward never.
It's not forwards ever. Ever.
Forward ever.
Backwards.
With an
never.
A. Backward never.
Right. It's community day, so we're giving y'all phonetics lesson.
What? Community day.
All right.
Wow.
Right.
You said that very fast. So
Community. Wait, did I actually? Community.
Community.
Wow, Mimi.
It's community day.
LOL.
So before we go, what are you listening to right now that you want to add to the playlist?
What am I listening to right now?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been really into Mr. Omale.
Hey.
I've liked him a lot.
I feel like I know what song you're going to say.
Ooh. Okay, guess.
Holy Ghost fire, supernatural, boost my confidence.
Well, yes, I've liked that song, but also I've just been, I just loving everything. Like, okay, I know she always says pick one, I guess.
Yes, pick one. Follow the direction.
Okay, then I will pick actually Reason by Omale.
Okay.
Reason.
I think I know that one. We will add it to the playlist. And I'm still working on making sure it's attached. So if you go to the Spotify page, then you can see the playlist there as well as obviously our podcast. So I'm still working on that. I'm trying to put it together. The playlist has been created. It's figuring out how to make sure it shows up on the page.
It shows up, yeah.
But we are working on it.
We will get it out. You guys will jam with us in no time. Don't worry.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
It will come to pass.
Amen.
Amigo, amigo. Isn't that what your uncle always says? He always says, Ami.
Ami.
I'm like, dude, you are not even like, you're not even Muslim. How's that? Ami.
Ami.
Relax, George, relax.
George.
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 Well, he could be a George.
No, he could be a Ronald.
Wow. Ronald.
Ronald.
I like music too much.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I think I'm gonna do Dali. I'm trying to see the name of the artist because I know the song, but it is
okay. Because I was listening to that song yesterday.
It is Dali by Camo. Oh, I'm gonna mess up her name. Camo Fela. Featuring. That's probably why I like it. Tyler ICU. He's the one that did.
I get. And he also did. Did he work with Uncle Waffles?
I'm sure everybody has worked with Uncle Waffles at this point. So I guess second week in a row, another Amapiano song. For me, this week is Dali.
Dali. I really like that song.
Oh. Is this the week we get to sing yet for the people?
What?
I was just
hold on.
I just wanted to see the look on your face.
No, because if only y'all could see, I was really taking it. Don't put me like that. Don't play in my face.
Aren't you Beyonce?
Well, yes. No,
so you should be able to sing on the spot. Beyonce is ready to sing whatever.
Okay.
You meet her on the side of the road.
But already in episode 5?
And how wind fan is always blowing.
Well, yes.
Is it ever Beyonce without the wind fan, without the fan?
Right, for real. If she's not either adjusting.
Can a fan just follow me everywhere I go during the summer months in Texas? Can I have a personal fan that just follows me and just blows my hair?
I like the sun and the heat.
It's too hot. Oof. Right now it's nice and cool and I love it.
It's too cold though. Okay, it's cool. Today's really good weather, but it's been cold. I feel like I'm back in Minnesota.
And the Minnesotans are laughing at us because we're over here wearing jackets and it's 54 degrees.
But they're feeling like this.
And they go running in shorts in 54 degrees.
This is warmth for them.
Yeah. A Minnesotan person sees 54 degrees, they're like, oh, it's summertime.
They actually whip
Put on my shorts.
Yeah, for real. They take off their jackets.
Yeah.
We only run from the cold when we see the snow and the ground is white.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But even then, we love it.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But I'm a Texan girl now.
Okay. What is the name of the Texas football team?
Cowboys. Well, no.
And what city?
Dallas.
Okay.
Wait, because you were trying to play my face. Don't. I know some stuff.
I want to experience like a football game or go to like a basketball game. I do want to attend a sporting event.
I want to attend a basketball game.
I want to do all of them. Football, baseball, basketball.
Baseball. Well, yeah.
So I'm putting that on my list and I'm putting it out there. If anybody wants to gift me tickets.
Hey. If anybody wants to anonymously
game, we want to experience it and we will
anonymously send tickets to Banta.
Bantapod at gmail.com. Okay.
Oh, yes.
You can send us those tickets.
Right, or you can send me
and we'll make sure they have a good home.
A special meetup with Beyonce or Rihanna. I'll take it. Wait,
back to things that can actually happen.
This girl said, back to reality.
Back to reality. Beyonce ain't checking for you or giving you no free ticket. If you didn't make it to Renaissance, that's your fault. And she still didn't even see the movie. So not only did she not make it to Renaissance, she did not see the movie. But she'll be over here acting like she's Queen Bee of the Beehive. Hey, Beyonce. Every 2 seconds, Beyonce.
She really just tried to tear me down.
Now you be Beyonce biggest fan, but you never made movie, you never made Renaissance, you never made nothing.
Right. So on episode 5 of Banta Podcast, thank you guys for... Thank you guys so much.
On episode 5 is when we realized that Mariama is not a true...
On episode 5,
Beehive fan.
Betrayed her and ruined her Beehive reputation. Because,
well,
okay,
you never
anyways,
know.
On episode 5...
On episode 5 was when we realized that we always talk about Beyonce on every episode somehow.
Well, yes.
How?
My mission.
You think she's paying us? Please, though.
She'll notice me. It's okay.
I saw her latest picture online. It was nice.
Don't. Okay, now she's trying to give scraps. She ate.
I said it was nice. Oh, excuse me.
No,
I did not give Beyonce the accolade she was deserving. Her picture, she slayed. She was honorable. Well, yes. She was great. Her hair was hairing. Her slay was slay. Is that good enough?
I guess. No, yes, it is. Funny.
All right, we gotta go. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Banta.
Yes, and we hope that you guys have a wonderful week. And don't forget about us.
Yeah, don't.
Miss us while we're gone now.
Miss us while we're gone, or while we're gone, just listen to another episode. And
we're doing British accent now. Yes. I wasn't quite aware.
Because if anybody didn't know, I am from the UK.
I need somebody from the UK to tell us how our accent is.
I feel like mine's spot on.
Yeah, yours is good. Mine's probably really, really... bollocks.
Really bad. I've heard.
Don't they use the word bollocks?
Yeah, bollocks.
It's
actually I don't know.
Complete rubbish. Yeah, mine rubbish. Is probably complete rubbish.
It's complete rubbish. Well, yeah.
But
thank you. But farewell. So long. Ta-ta.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. You just finished an episode of Banta with Toni and Mimi. We just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our podcast. Have a wonderful day.